Okay, so this is getting the tree from the nursery on its cart, showing its whole height and everything in the pot and the nice, beautiful trunk. And this is it sticking through the sunroof of a 2005 Toyota Corolla. My passenger for the trip. And getting it home. Holy crap. Okay, we have gotten it home. And down here at the base, we not only have a gorgeous trunk that's gonna make an amazing bonsai, we got a free live oak sapling. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. And then when we get it out of the pot, we're also gonna, you can see there's a lot of stuff in here. So we'll probably be able to remove another inch of trunk from all of that, which will help our bonsai and show off these gorgeous roots. And after that, we'll have to lop the top off. We've got some real decisions to make. We have to think about the proportions of this tree when it's finished. And I want it to look like a cypress growing by the side of the river. That means I'm going to have to cut it off, let the top go. Now, wherever you cut it, there's gonna be dieback, 3 to 4 inches. So if I want this to be the top of my tree, I would cut above that, it'll die back and I'll be able to cut that off next season. We'll wire this straight up to make a new leader for the top of the tree. And we'll leave about 4 feet going all the way down so that I'll have a 4-foot tall sort of cypress tree starting right there. And then we'll prune out these branches on the bottom to really highlight that trunk and make it look more like a full-grown tree. Then these branches in the middle will grow out and strengthen over the next year, and it'll be an ongoing process. But that's what you've got to do when you start with a full tree. You got to look at the whole thing. You got to make the decisions on your proportion. And then you've got to take that hard step of cutting off the top. Always hurts so much cutting off the top of that tree. To make myself feel better, I'm saving the cuttings and the leader and giving them to Kevin over at Rainbow Gardens. Now, what we've got to do is we'll create the illusion of a full-size tree by bringing this straight up, and it will grow into a new trunk going up over time. And then next year, when all this dies back here, we'll cut the rest of that off. But we're going to take a piece of wire and we're going to wire this up. Tree. And then to complete the illusion, we're going to have to remove these things here from the bottom. So I use these concave cutters so that it cuts into a little bit in a semicircle, so the tree will have an easier time growing over and making a knot there, because flat shears just don't quite do it. So now you can see we have down here this beautiful, already maturing trunk with the very desired big roots that happen with these cypress trees. And we have the root structure, the strong, thick trunk, the branches leading into the canopy, and the top of the tree going off there into the sky. So those are all of your bonsai elements, and the next thing we're going to have to do this thing's so tall I can't even see everything, is we're gonna have to clear out the bottom and get it ready for potting. Comes out beautifully. And now it's time to get the pot ready, which, because I'm not ready to go and spend another $50, I got this 9.9 liter. It's a thin, round terracotta. It's bonsai-ish. And you can see, since we cleared, you know, that top inch, it's almost the depth of what was in the pot. I'm only gonna have to cut out an inch or so of the bottom, and this is wider than the top, so there'll be a lot of new soil, and we call this a training pot because it's flat and wide, and the tree, as it grows, its roots will grow out wide, which will be good when we finally put it into that square bonsai pot eventually. I thought maybe you might like to see how much I decide to cut off, how I choose how much to cut off. And I stick it in the pot like this, and then I see, you know, what's left above the top. I want that down here. So I've got, you know, my first 2 knuckles here. That's got to come off the bottom. So I'll go back to the trusty hacksaw and we'll cut off 2 knuckles of depth from the bottom, and that should drop this right to that edge level. To here, where we are about level with the side there, and we're showing these beautiful roots here up from the top. When it cut, a lot of that dirt fell out, and you could see I was really wrestling with it. I was cutting, those roots are wood. That is a tree down there, and you are cutting through that taproot, and it was able to I got enough of it that it was able to get into this recessed part in the pot, so it's thoroughly down. You can see that there is a huge amount of space here now for soil. And here is the leftover root disc. And these are just huge pieces of log that are still in here. There was fungus here, which is why I sprayed some stuff during the video. And so a lot of this dirt, this is what it was potted in. And whenever possible, you want to reuse the same stuff your plant was potted in if you bought it from a nursery, or simulate the dirt that they potted in. This looks like a really basic potting mix. A little bit of clay seems to be in there. I'm gonna add some peat moss so that it retains moisture and has a little acidity to it. I'm gonna add some fertilizer that I was given today that is based in chicken poop and has minerals that plants need as well in it. And so we're gonna get the soil in here. But first, this big wire right here, we're gonna have to use that big wire to wire this thing down because it is too tall for this pot and it really could fall over. So let's wire it up now. Okay, so this isn't a traditional bonsai pot, so I only had one hole in the bottom, So I kind of molded it. You use copper when you wire bonsai because it doesn't harm the plant. It's malleable, easy to work with. This is a number 12 gauge copper wire. You would usually use a 14 or a 16 solid, but because this is a big tree, I got a bigger wire. It is still a little bit loose. This wire is really just to keep it from falling out of the pot. I'm gonna pack it in with some wedges and some dirt and everything to really make it solid when we go ahead and finish the potting process. I'm also going to add some root boost down here along the bottom when I put in the soil. But man, after all that work, I'm tired and I need a beer. Okay, today's beer is the SD Besties Neapolitan Imperial Milk Stout by the Belching Beaver Brewery. Now, a lot of people might think it's weird to drink a milk stout on a warmer summer day, but I say, don't worry about it. These are still delicious beers. This one is insanely flavorful. I think it's called a Neapolitan because it tastes like Neapolitan ice cream. It has chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry flavors all in it. But these are not flavored, beers. These are flavors that they're getting out of the chocolate malts. They're getting it out of the caramelized malts. They're getting it out of the hops. You can see the way it pours. Oh wait, first let me take a sip here. Oh yeah, that way you can have some viewing of the pouring, because I made some space in the glass. Look at the thickness, the viscosity of that liquid. Oh man, a thin little head on it. It's not overly thick. It doesn't make you sick even on a, warmer day. It is 8.5% alcohol, so don't drink too many of them. But yeah, if you want a flavorful, full beer, beer that's a meal, what you want here is your SD Bestie Milk Stout. All right, back to this bonsai. Okay, the last step is getting the soil in here into the pot. So, like I said, we're gonna start with some of the root boost. I'm going to mix in a little bit of peat with the already existing. That way it'll hold water better, because these cypress, they need a lot of water. So it's gonna have less soil to get that water from. So adding the peat will keep that soil in there. I'm sorry, keep that water in the soil. And we're gonna fill it up to about here. We're gonna cover it with a layer of bonsai soil and some rocks to help also keep that water in. And then we should be done. There you have it, a bald cypress bonsai in its first stages, but it has all the elements of bonsai and the elements of what people look for in the cypress. Those big, thick roots, a beautiful maturing trunk, nice branches coming out, and a canopy. So thank you everybody for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. This has been Bonsai and Beer. I'm Brandomical. See you next week.